Change is the thing most people want most and understand least. Not the idea of change. Everyone has an idea about change, usually involving some version of more discipline, more motivation, more willpower. But how change actually happens in the human being, not theoretically but mechanically, at the level of behavior and nervous system and habit, is something most people have thought about much less carefully than the amount of effort they have put into attempting it. The gap between attempting change and understanding how change works is the explanation for most of the frustrated cycling, the starting over, the resolving, the initial progress, the eventual relapse, the shame, the renewed resolution, that characterizes most people's relationship with the things they are trying to change about themselves. Here's what the evidence actually shows. Change does not primarily happen through intention. The human brain has two primary operating systems, the deliberate, effortful, reasoning system, and the automatic, fast, habit-based system. Most of what we do is governed by the second system. Habits, patterns, automatic responses, these run without conscious oversight, which is necessary for functioning. You cannot think about every step you take while walking. The problem is that the automatic system is not just running walking and breathing. It is also running emotional responses, relational patterns, ways of thinking, defaults under stress. And the deliberate system, for all its aspiration, cannot simply override the automatic system through willpower. You can use the deliberate system to design the conditions under which the automatic system operates. But you cannot just command the automatic system to be different. This is why insight alone does not produce change. Why knowing exactly why you do the thing does not stop you from doing it. Why the person who understands their pattern with precision continues to repeat it. Understanding lives in the deliberate system. The pattern lives in the automatic system. Different addresses. Change in the automatic system happens through a different mechanism, repetition. The automatic system learns by doing. It encodes patterns through repeated activation. The same neural pathways are strengthened by repeated use, less used pathways weaken. This is called long-term potentiation, and it is the physical substrate of habit formation. The practical implication is this: change happens not through commitment but through repetition. Not through motivation but through structure. You cannot commit your way into a different automatic system. You can expose it to different inputs, repeatedly, until the new pattern begins to encode. The Lubavitcher Rebbe's teaching on change, specifically through the lens of teshuva, the Jewish concept of turning or return, is remarkably aligned with this understanding while adding a dimension that behavioral science does not address. He taught that genuine change requires a turn, not just a modification of behavior but an actual reorientation of the self toward a different direction. He distinguished between surface change, which is doing different things while the underlying orientation remains the same, and genuine transformation, which is a shift in who one is at the level of identity and core orientation. And he taught something specific about how this happens. It is not primarily through effort directed at the behavior. It is through connection to the deepest dimension of who you are, the part of you that already knows what it wants to move toward. From that connection, the motivation for change is not external, not compelled, not willed. It arises from the inside. The integration of these two approaches is powerful. The spiritual reorientation the Rebbe describes provides the direction and the motivation. The behavioral mechanics of repetition and structure provide the mechanism. Neither one alone is sufficient. Together, they describe a complete account of how lasting change actually works. You change not by trying harder at the current behavior. You change by designing the conditions for a different behavior to become automatic. And by connecting to the part of you that already knows why it matters.